सरसी गोस्वामी महाराज की, अन्य बड़ी वैष्णव वृंद की, आचार्य दास ठाकुर की, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की, सगो प्रेमानंदे, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, always Guru Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 4, Appearance of Sri Narada, and today's verses 26 to 33, last verses. So 26 will read, Evam pravtasya sada bhutanam shreyasi dujaham sarvatmakena biyadam nautusham hridayam tadam. Evam pravtasya sada bhutanam shreyasi dujaham sarvatmakena biyadam nautusham hridayam tadam. Evam pravtasya sada bhutanam shreyasi dujaham sarvatmakena biyadam natusha hridayam tadam. Sarjama ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Evam pravartasya sada bhutanam shreyasi duja sarvatmagena biyada dushya hridayam tada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Jai Shri Maji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। एवं प्रवृत्तस्य सदा भूतानां श्रेयसि द्विजाः सर्वात्मकेनापि यदा नातुष्यत् हृदयं ततः। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Milinda Maji.
हरे कृष्ण। एवं प्रवृत्तस्य सदा भूतानां श्रेयसि द्विजाः सर्वात्मकेनापि यदा नातुष्यत् हृदयं ततः। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Yes, Sindha Maji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। एवं प्रवृत्तस्य सदा भूतानां श्रेयसि द्विजः सर्वात्मकेनापि यदा नात्युषात् हृदयं ततः। May I read the sentence?
Yes.
They, ete, all these, Rishayah, learned scholars, Vedam, the respective Vedas, Swam, in their own interested matters, Vyasan, rendered, Anekadha, many, Sishyah, disciples, Prasishyah, grand disciples, Tat Sriya, great grand disciples, Vedahate, followers of the respective Vedas, Sakhina, different branches, Abhavan, thus become. Translation: all these learned scholars in their turn rendered their interested Vedas unto their many disciples, grand disciples, and great grand disciples, and thus the respective branches of the followers of the Vedas came into being. Purport: His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The original source of knowledge is the Vedas. There are no branches of knowledge, either mundane or transcendental, which do not belong to the original text of the Vedas. They have simply...
Which one you are reading?
I think she's reading 23rd.
It's 26 actually. I was looking somewhere and looking. Motherji is 26.
Yes, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Sevam Patasya Sada Bhudanam Shreyasi Dija. You can read it?
Yes, Prabhuji, 1.4.26.
Yes.
Is it correct?
Yeah, 1.4.2.
I thought it is 24. sorry, Prabhuji. Evam, thus, Pravatasya, one who is engaged in Sada, always, Bhutanam, of the living beings, Shreyasi, in the ultimate good, Dvijaha, O twice born, Sarvatma Kenapi, by all means, Yada, when, Na, not, Atusyat, become satisfied, Hridayam, mind, Tataha, at that time. Translation, O twice born Brahmanas, still his mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. Purport, His Divine Grace, ऐसी भक्ति वेदांता श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Sri Vyasadeva was not satisfied with himself, although he had prepared literature of Vedic values for the all-around welfare of the general mass of people. It was expected that he would be satisfied by all such activities, but ultimately he was not satisfied. Hare Krishna.
Next 27. Nadi prasida deha saraswatya tade shujaho vidarkayan viviktastha idam chovacha dharmave. Nadi prasidat hridaya saraswatya tade shujaho vidarkayan viviktastha idam govacha dharmave. Yes. Shailaja Maji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
नादिप्रसीद हृदय सरस्वत्यास्तरेषु जौ विदर्कयन् विविक्तस्ता इदं प्रोवाच धर्मवेत्. हरे कृष्ण.
Yes.
Hare Krishna
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Shubhadi.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna
Shubhadi.
Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nadi prasidadhridaya saraswatyastadeshu chau vitarkayan viviktastha idam jovacha dharmavid. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Snigdha Maji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nati prasiddha hridayah saraswatyat statesu chau vitarkayan viviktasya idam pravacha dharmabit. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Melinda Maji.
Hare Krishna. Nati prasida dhritaya sarasvataya state suchav vitarkayan viviktasta idam kovacha dharmavid. May I read, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Na, not, ati prasida, very much satisfied. Hridaye, at heart, Saraswati, of the river Saraswati, Tate, on the bank of Shucha, being purified, Vitarkayan, having considered, Viviktasta, situated in a lovely place, Idam cha, also this, Uvacha, said, Dharmavit, one who knows what religion is. Translation. Thus the sage, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect, because he knew the essence of religion, and he said within himself, Purport, by his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji ki jai. The sage began to search out the cause of not being satisfied at heart. Perfection is never attained until one is satisfied at heart. This satisfaction of heart has to be searched out beyond matter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Verses 28, 29. Dhrida vradena hi maya chandansi guravogneha manida nirvyaligena grihidam chanushasanam bharada vivadeshena hi amnayathasya pradashida drishyade yata dharmadi stri shudradivir apyuchada धृतव्रतेन हि मया छन्दासि गुरोऽग्नयः मानिदा निर्व्यलीकेन गृहीतं चानुशासनं भारतव्यपदेशेन हि आम्नायार्थश्च प्रदर्शिता दृश्यते यत धर्मादि स्त्रीशूद्रादिभिरुच्यता. शैलजा
हरे कृष्ण. जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. धृतपदेन हि माया छन्दांसि गुरुवोऽग्नया मानिदा निर्वलीकेन गृहीतं चानुशासनं भारताव्यपदेशेनेह अम्नायार्थश्च दर्शिता दृश्यते यत्र धर्मादि श्रीशूद्रादिभिरप्युता. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dhrita Vradena hi मया छन्दांसि गुरवोऽग्नया मानिता निर्व्यलीकेन गृहीतं चानुशासनं भरतव्यपदेशेन ह्याम्नायार्थश्च प्रदर्शिता दृश्यते यत्र धर्मादिस्त्रीशूद्राभिरप्युता।
Hare Krishna. Yes, Melinda Maji.
Hare Krishna. धृताव्रतेन हि माया छन्दांसि गुरुवो अग्नया मानिता निर्वयालिकेन गृहीतं चानुशासनं पदेशेन हेयं नायर्थाश्च प्रदर्शितः दृश्यते यत्र धर्मादि श्रीशूद्रादिभिरपि युता। हरे कृष्ण।
Right, they go. Yes, Snigdha Maji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। धृतव्रतेन हि मया छन्दांसि गुरुवग्नयः मानिता निर्व्यलिकेन गृहीतं चानुशासनं भरतव्यपदेशेन यम्नायर्थश्च दर्शितः दृश्यते यत्र धर्मादि स्त्रीशूद्रादिभिरप्युतः। May I read the synonym?
Yes. Yes.
Dhritabratena, under a strict disciplinary vow, he certainly, Maya, by me, Chandamsi, the Vedic hymns, Guravaha, the spiritual masters, Agneyaha, the sacrificial fire, Manitaha, properly worshipped, Nirvaya Likena, without pretense, Grihitamscha, also accepted, Anusasanam, traditional discipline, Vrata, the Mahabharata, Varata, the Mahabharata, Vyapadeshena, by compilation of, he certainly, Amnaya Artha, import of disciplic succession, saw, and Pradarshitaha, properly explained, Drishyate, by what is necessary, Yatra, where, Dharma Adi, the path of religion, Stri Shudra Adi Vihi Api, even by men, even by women, Sudras, etc., Uta spoken. Translation: I have under strict disciplinary vows unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas, the spiritual masters, and the altar of sacrifice. I have also abided by the rulings of have shown the import of disciplic succession through the explanation of the Mahabharata, by which even women, Sudras, and other friends of the twice born can see the path of religion. Purpose: His Divine Grace, ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. No one can understand the import of the Vedas without having undergone a strict disciplinary vow and disciplic succession. The Vedas, spiritual masters, and sacrificial fire must be worshipped by the desiring candidate. All these intricacies of Vedic knowledge are systematically presented in the Mahabharata for the understanding of the woman class, the laborer class, and the unqualified members of Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya families. In this age, the Mahabharata is more essential than the original Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 30. Tadhavi badame dehyo hyatma chaivatmana vibhu asambhanna iva bhadi brahmavarchasya sattamam. Tadhavi badame dehyo hyatma chaivatmana vibhu asambhanna iva bhadi brahmavarchasya sattamam. Sahaja Maji.
हरे कृष्ण अताविबदमे दैत्यो आत्मा चैवात्मनः विभुः असम्पन्न इव भाति ब्रह्मवर्चस्य असत्तमः. हरे कृष्ण.
Krishna. Jai Shri Maji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तथा विबदम मे दैह्यो ह्यात्मा चैवात्मना विभो असम्पन्न इव भाति ब्रह्मवर्चस्य सत्तमा। हरे
Snigdha Maji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तथापि बदमेद्यैहो ह्यात्मा चैवात्मना विभु असंपन्न इव भाति ब्रह्मवर्चस्य सत्तमः। हरे कृष्ण।
Nindamaji.
Hare Krishna. तथापि बता में दह्यो हि आत्मा चैवात्मा विभुः असंपन्ना इवा भाति ब्रह्मवर्चस्य सत्तमः। May I read, Prabhu?
Yes.
Tathapi, although, bata, defect, me, mind, daya, situated in the body, he, certainly, atma, living being, cha, and eva, even, atmana, myself, vibhu, sufficient, asampanaha, wanting in, eva abhati, it appears to be, brahma varchasya, of the Vedantis, satamaha, the supreme. Translation: I am feeling incomplete, though I myself am fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas. Purport: by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. Undoubtedly, Srila Vyasadeva was complete in all the details of Vedic achievements. Purification of the living being submerged in matter is made possible by the prescribed activities in the Vedas, but the ultimate achievement is different. Unless it is attained, the living being, even though fully equipped, cannot be situated in the transcendently normal stage. Srila Vyasadeva appeared to have lost the clue and therefore felt dissatisfaction. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 31. Kim va bhagavata dharma na prayena nirupitaha priyaha paramahamsanam ta eva hi achyuta priyam. Kim va bhagavata dharma na prayena nirupitaha priyaha paramahamsanam ta eva hi achyuta priyam. Kim va bhagavata dharma na prayena nirupitaha priyaha Paramahamsanam ta eva hi achyuta priyam. Sarjamaji.
हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। किं वा भागवता धर्मा न प्रायेण निरूपिताः प्रियाः परमहंसानां त एव हि अच्युतप्रिया। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। किं वा भगवता धर्मा न प्रायेण निरूपिता प्रिया परमहंसानां त एव ह्यच्युत प्रिया। हरे कृष्ण।
Snigdhamaji. Sorry, Nindamaji.
Hare Krishna. Kim va bhagavata dharma na priyana nirupitaha priya paramhamsanam ta eva hi achyuta priyaha. Hare Krishna.
Snigdhamaji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। किं वा भगवतः धर्मा न प्रायेण निरूपितः प्रियः परमहंसानं त एव ह्यच्युत प्रियः। May I read the synonyms?
Yes.
Kim va or Bhagavata Dharmena, devotional activities of the living beings, no, not, prayena, almost, nirupitaha, directed, priyaha, dear, paramahansam, of the perfect being, te eva, that also, he, certainly, achyuta, the infallible, priyaha, attractive. Translation: this may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. Purport: His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The dissatisfaction which was being felt by Srila Vyasadeva is expressed herein in his own words. This was felt for the normal condition of the living being in the devotional service of the Lord. Unless one is fixed in the normal condition of service, neither the Lord nor the living being can become fully satisfied. This defect was felt by him when Narada Muni, his spiritual master, reached him. It is described as follows. Hare Krishna.
2. Tasya evam kilatmanam manyamanesya khidyadam krishnasya nardo abhyagam ashramam pragudahridam. Tasya evam kilamatmanam manyamanasya khidyadam krishnasya nardo abhyagam ashramam pragudahridam. Sarjama ji.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasaivam Kilamatmanam Manyamanasya Kityaya Krishnasya Narado Bhaga Ashramam Brahudahritam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Maa ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय तस्यैवखिलमात्मानं मन्यमानस्य खित्यदा कृष्णस्य नारदोऽभ्यागत् आश्रमं प्रागुदाहृतम् हरे कृष्ण
Snigdha Maa ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasyevankhilamatmanam manyamanasya khidyatah Krishnasya naradabhyagyad asramang pragrudahrutam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vinita Maa ji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Tasyevam khilam atmana manyamaनस्य खिद्यतः कृष्णस्य नारदो अभ्यागात् आश्रमं प्रग उद्धृतं. May I read, Puji?
Yes.
Tasya, he is, evam, thus, khilam, inferior, atmanam, soul, manyamanasya, thinking within the mind, khidyataha, regretting, krishnasya, of Krishna, dvepayana, vyasa, naradaha, abhyagat, narada came there, ashramam, a cottage, prak, before, udahritam, said. Translated. As mentioned before, Narada reached the cottage of Krishna Dvepayana Vyasa on the banks of the Saraswati just as Vyasadeva was regretting his defects. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. The vacuum felt by Vyasadeva was not due to his lack of knowledge. Bhagavata Dharma is purely devotional service of the Lord to which the monist has no access. The monist is not counted amongst the Paramahamsas, the most perfect of the renounced order of life. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of narrations of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Although Vyasadeva was an empowered divinity, he still felt dissatisfaction because in none of his work were the transcendental activities of the Lord properly explained. The inspiration was infused by Sri Krishna directly in the heart of Vyasadeva, and thus he felt a vacuum as explained above. It is definitely expressed herewith that without the transcendental loving service of the Lord, everything is void, but in the transcendental service of the Lord, everything is tangible without any separate attempt at fruitive work or empiric philosophical speculation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 33. Tamavijñāya sahasa pratyudhāvayāgadam muni पूजयामासा विधिवन् नारदं सुरपूजितं तम् अभिज्ञाय सहसा प्रत्युत्थायागतं मुनि पूजयामासा विधिवन् नारदं सुरपूजितं. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Tam abhiඥāya sahasa pradyuddhaya gadam muni pujayamasa vidhivan naradam surapūjidam. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Jai Shri Maa ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय तमभिज्ञाय सहसा प्रत्युत्थायागतं मुनि पूजयामास विधिवन्नारदं सुरपूजितं हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Yes, Melinda Maa ji.
Hare Krishna. Tam abhiginaya sahasa pratyutyayagatam munihi pujayam asavidhivan narada suja pujitam. Hare Krishna.
Yes, and Snigdha Maa ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tamabhigyāya sahasa pratyuthāya gatang munihi pujayamasa vidhiva naradang sura pujitam. May I read the synonyms?
Yes, yes.
Tam avigyaya, seeing the good fortune of his arrival, sahasa, all of a sudden, pratyuthaya, getting up, agatam, arrived at, munihi, Vyasadeva, pujayam asa, worship, vidhivat, with the same respect as offered to Vidhi, Naradam, to Narada, Sura Pujitam, worshipped by the demigods. Translation: At the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada, Sri Vyasadeva got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving him veneration equal to that given to Brahmaji, the creator. Purport: His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vidhi means Brahma, the first created living being. He is the original student as well as professor of the Vedas. He learned it from Sri Krishna and taught Narad first. So Narad is the second Acharya in the lines of spiritual disciplic succession. He is the representative of Brahma and therefore he is respected exactly like Brahma, the father of all Vedis. Similarly, all other successive disciples in the chain are also equally respected as representatives of the original spiritual master. Thus, end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, fourth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Appearance of Sri Narada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaturmedam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sabidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagada Mahyam Dadadi Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapadagamam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sam Shri Rupam Sagarajadam Saganaragunadan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Sadhum Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Virda Shiv Shadan Vamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagalpade Gopeshka Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namaste Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishna Bhanasude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dhadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna
एवं
Hare
भवतस्य सदा भूतानां श्रेयसी द्विजाः सर्वात्मकेनापि यदा नादुष्यत् हृदयं तदा. Or twice born Brahmanas, still his mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. So here we have seen that Vedavyas, he bifurcated the original Veda into 4 and entrusted these Vedas to his disciples. Paidi Rishi, he entrusted Rig Veda. Jaimini was entrusted with Samaveda, and Vaishambhayana with Yajurveda. And then Angirasa or Sumanto Muni was entrusted with Atharva Veda. And these professors, these Greek scholars, they taught their respective branches of Vedas, which they were entrusted with, to their disciples. And then from their great disciples, their great grand disciples, etc. Parampara was created. So in Brahmanic households, they are divided. These kulas of the Brahmanas were divided according to the Vedas, which they are entrusted with. So there were branches of Rig Vedas, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvaveda. So they have, if they are very adept with 2 Vedas, they were known as Dvivedi. They know the 3 Vedas, the Trivedi, then you have the Chaturvedi. And under this, each Vedas, there will be a cluster of Upanishads. 180 Upanishads were branched under these 4 Vedas. So the Vedas expanded, And even material science also, so many material science, everything is coming under Vedas only. You have Dhanur Veda, art of martial warfare, and then you have this what do you call astronomy, geography, so many branches, Ayurveda, all material and spiritual, all the branches is coming under Vedas. And these Vedas spread all over the world because of the efforts of the disciples. And in many places, many branches of knowledge. But ultimately, all these branches of knowledge were linked to Vedas only, or the origin was the Vedas. So even the modern physics, chemistry, whatever you mentioned, you can say, ultimately has its origin from Vedas. And having done so, Vedavyas was still not very satisfied because he thought that Vedas in general is a bit difficult for some classes of people to follow, like Shudras, Sri, women folk, and then Dujabandhus. Who's a Dujabandhu? Who is a Dujabandhu?
No idea.
The friends of the Brahmanas.
Friends of twice born.
Yeah, friends. Twice born is Duja. When Dujabandhu means relatives, no, those relatives who are not qualified as a Duja. Their forefathers may be qualified, but they themselves are not very qualified. What could be the reason for that? It is mentioned as samskaras. When you want to have a Sattvic boy or a Sattvic child in your family, you should strictly follow these samskaras, especially Garbhadhana. And if somebody is not following it, the children that will be born will be likely in the Rajogun and Tamogun. And actually, they will not have these Brahminical qualities. So that is the reason. That is the reason they are called Dujabandhus, because though born in Brahmana, Duja means twice born, and the higher castes like Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas, they have this Upadana of function is there. They do it. And if these children of these Dujas are not qualified, they are considered as Dujabandhus. Yes, Asnigdha.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Jadurveda is done by Vaisampayana, means Vyasadeva himself.
Who?
It is said that Pela has done the Rigveda, and the next one is Gemini did the Samveda, and Jadurveda by Vaisampayana. So Vaisampayana is Veda Vyasa only.
How come?
It is the 21 sloka, Prabhuji.
I know 21. I don't know, but why you say Vaishambhana is Vedavyasa only?
I think that the other name of Veda Vyasa is Vaisampayana.
Where is it given? Vaishambhana alone became glorified by Yajurveda. That's verse number 21. You are mentioning verse number 21, no?
Yes. It
But
is
where
given
is
that.
given that Vaishambhana is Vedavyasa only?
No, Prabhuji, I just said that I just came to know that Vaisampayana is the other name. It may be the other name of Veda Vyasa.
No, I'm not getting. How do you come to this conclusion that Vaishambhana is another name for Vedavyas? Where it is given?
No, I think, Prabhuji, is it Veda Vyasa or the other rishis?
Vedavyasa
Or some other person?
No, Vedavyasa is the original compiler of Vedas. He bifurcated into 4 and then entrusted each Vedas to one of his disciples. Like Paila Rishi was given Rig Veda. Jaimini was entrusted with the Samaveda. And
Yes.
Vaishnampayana with Yajurveda.
हाँ, तो Vaishampayana is not Veda Vyasa, no?
No,
Oh, he is another one.
I don't know how you got confused with this.
I thought that Vaishampayana and Veda Vyasa is the same name, because I thought that I have read somewhere.
Okay. And anyway, they are different persons only.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. Krishna Dwapayana. This is actually another name for Vedavyas, Krishna Dwapayana. Maybe that is why. Instead of Vaishampayana, you would have mentioned Krishna Dwapayana.
Yes, yes.
Vedavyas, Krishna Dwapayana.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, Vedavyas were very concerned with these people also. Shudras, women, and the friends of Dija Bandhus. And for their benefit, he wrote Itihasa called Mahabharata. Because in Mahabharata, everything is there. The Karma Yoga is there, Karma Kanda session is there, fruitive activity is there, everything is there. And the religious principle, which we are very familiar with now, the Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, these are also contained in Mahabharata. And for the spiritual thing, you have the Bhagavad Gita also. But having done all this, because he is catering to all the types of persons, because as you know, everybody is under gunas. There are many people in Sattoguna, many people in Rajogun, and a great number in Tamogun. A person who is very, very compassionate, he will not think that only Brahmanas are qualified for spiritual upliftment. Others may be equally qualified. So what he tried to was, he tried to make it easy, the spiritual education. He tried to make it as easy as possible for everybody could get benefit out of this. There is a very strong division among the acharyas to say that Brahmanas mean people who are in Sattoguna are only eligible to advance in spiritual science. It's true also, because scriptures can be understood only person situated in Sattoguna. But acharyas like Shankaracharya and Madhvacharya, they are very strict that only Brahmanas can follow this. But Ramanacharya and our own Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were so liberal, and that they expanded this spiritual education so that everybody can get benefit of. Ramanacharya translated most of his work into local languages also. He accepted many persons outside Brahmana as his disciples. While Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he did was, he promoted the Sankirtan movement. That is the greatest boon. That is the greatest magnanimous gift that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to whole humankind, so that everyone could derive benefit out of this. Just by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, if you can ultimately reach the sublime, the supermost platform of spiritual advancement, what could be better? So here, Vedavyas, having done this, although he was very, very concerned, was very compassionate, he tried to reach out to each and every one. But even then, he was not satisfied. Normally, you think that having done so much, making so much effort, dividing the Vedas, interesting Vedas, developing the Vedas, and including everyone into a purview of this spiritual umbrella. But then, even then, he was not really satisfied. So what was the reason? He's trying to do some introspection. Now, Adipasida Divya Saraswatya Tareshjo Vitarkayan Viviktasta Idam Chavacha Dharmaven. Thus a sage, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect because he knew the essence of religion, and he said within himself. He said he at once began to reflect. Reflect means contemplate. Contemplate means do some introspection. Why I am unsatisfied? Why I am not satisfied? Having done so much, one will naturally expect Vedavyas to be really satisfied, but he was not. And Srila Prabhupada says, satisfaction of heart has to be searched beyond matter. There is what you call a material satisfaction, and there is a spiritual satisfaction also. Material satisfaction, when your senses are comfortable, when your mind is comfortable, not anxious, and when your intellectual is calm, or intellect is calm, then you derive a material satisfaction. But beyond this external calmness, external satisfaction, is a spiritual satisfaction, which is called Atindriya. Atindriya or transcendental intelligence also. You have to surpass the material intelligence and reach a state where the intelligence is now steeped completely in spirituality. So in Bhagavad Gita, Atindriyam Buddhigrahyam, one who has realized himself is understood as Atindriyam Buddhigrahyam. It is beyond the senses and beyond the intellect. Because Vedavyas, as you know, is an extremely great scholar, very, very intelligent, intellectual. But having done everything, still is not satisfied, then we have to understand that the satisfaction is beyond intelligence. And intelligence, any type, is within, or intelligence connected to these material activities is very called material intelligence. But you have to surpass this material intelligence to be really satisfied. So he started introspection. What has gone wrong? What has happened? So he analyzed within himself. Dhrita Vradena hi maya chantansi guruvabneha manida nirvyalikena grihidam chanushasanam bharada vyabadeshena hi amnayarthascha pradashida drishyade yata dharmadi stri shudhadivir yudha. I have, under strict disciplinary was, and unpretentiously worship the Vedas, the spiritual master, and the altar of sacrifice. I have also abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplic succession through the explanation of Mahabharata, by which even women, Shudras, and others, friends of twice born, can see the path of religion. So he's, and within himself, he's analyzing his life work. What he has done in his whole lifetime, what he has done. So he's a very strict follower of disciplic succession. He will not budge an inch, deviate even a little bit from the parampara system. And all the do's and don'ts, vidhi and nisheda, he followed very minutely. Then he worshipped the Vedas, spiritual master, and the altar of sacrifice. Which means he conducted a lot of havan also, yajnas. Then whatever is possible, he has done that also. As the intricacies of Vedas is beyond the comprehension of a normal person, especially in Kali Yuga. For their benefit, he created this Mahabharata. And so Srila Prabhupada says, for all purpose, Mahabharata is more beneficial to a common man rather than Vedas. Because both Vedas as well as Mahabharata follow the same pattern, which is Purushartha. When the Purushartha, as mentioned in Vedas, is not understood by the lower persons like Shudras, Sri, and Dvijabandhus, he compiled Mahabharata. So for those people, rather than following Vedas and Upanishads, reading Mahabharata itself will lead them to the four principles of Dharma, ultimately reward them with the moksha.
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yes.
You mentioned reading Mahabharata. Is that
Yes.
same as Bhagavad Gita or is it different from Bhagavad Gita?
Mahabharata is an epic, Idihasa. Mahabharata, you know, the stories there, Mahabharata,
Yes,
the Pandavas and Kauravas.
yes.
The big story. That is Mahabharata.
Mhm.
In the Mahabharata, there are so many parvas. Bhishma Parva is there. Bhishma Parva is Parva which started glorifying Bhishma. It starts at the time of Kurukshetra war is commencing. And in the Bhishma Parva, some chapters 22 to 40, I think 18 chapters, this Bhagavad Gita is contained.
Okay.
Mahabharata, I believe it has 125,000 verses. It's a very big voluminous work. And Bhagavad Gita has only 700 out of 700. Out of 125,000, only 700 verses are totally spiritual, but that is enough.
Okay.
The both two Idihasas are the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Srimad Bhagavatam is Purana only.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
So Mahabharata is becoming more essential for these lower persons, lower class people who are not very intellectual. Tathapi vadame daihyo hyatmacheva vibhu asambanna ivabhadi brahmacha sattamam. I'm feeling incomplete, although myself I'm fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas. My soul is situated in the body, like called Daihyu. Though complete with all this austerity and knowledge, Vibhu, by nature, Atmana, he feels completely, he feels incomplete, asampanna. The word is asampanna. Asampanna means incomplete, wanting. Not only incomplete, but also inferior, asattama. So Vedavyasa, whatever is there in the purview of Vedas, whatever knowledge is say the purview of Vedas, as we have seen, so there are so many branches of Vedas. He had gathered all this knowledge. Why? For the purification of the fallen souls, which you have seen in verse number beginning itself. The purpose of Vedas is for purification. But merely by being purified, you're not going to achieve the end, the ultimate end. Will you purify me? Yes. All those Rajoguna and Tamoguna will be totally overcome. You will not be too much in the influence of these two inferior gunas, which is actually creating all the problems, which is leading a person, leading sort of sinful activities. Contamination is happening because of these two gunas. And when you are out of these two gunas, you become pure. Pure in the sense that you become more sattvic. But simply by being sattvic, you're not going to reach a real achievement, the ultimate end. Being sattvic is one of the advantageous position for receiving achieving the ultimate result. Ultimate result, which we'll find later, is to worship Krishna. Next verse is coming. Is Bhagavad Dharma. Bhagavad Dharma is not actually contained in Vedas. It is beyond Vedas. So you have to transcend the Vedas, then only reach the Bhagavad Dharma. It's in Brahma Samhita, it's said, Vedeshu Durlabha Adurlabha Atmabhakto. It is very rare in the Vedas, but for the devotees of Lord, this is more easily possible. So Vedavyas is very confused because he feels that although he has done everything possible, still he is not getting the satisfaction. Because somewhere around down the line, he has really missed the ultimate end, the ultimate objective of why you are studying Vedas, which is very clearly given in Bhagavad Gita, Vedeshu Sarva Ahameva Vedyam. The whole purpose of studying Vedas is to understand Krishna. Vedeshu Sarva Ahameva Vedyam, Vedavit, Vedavida, Vedavit Aham. So he is a person who compared Veda, who understands Veda is Krishna only. And by Veda only it could be understood. So this is beyond these four Purusharthas. And while contemplating this manner, Veda Vyas is also reaching this conclusion. In the next verse it's given. Kimba Bhagavata Dharmana Prayena Nirupida Priyaha Parahamsanam Ta Eva Hi Achuda Priyam. This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is clear both to perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. So devotional service both pleasing for the devotee as well as for the Lord. So Krishna is a savior and we are the servitor. Sevak. Sevak is a servitor. Savior means object of seva, which is Krishna. So both for Krishna as well as a living entity, devotion service is very satisfactory. And this is at the spiritual level. Having understood your original position that Krishna, we are the part of Krishna, and then rendering devotion service on the basis of this conclusion is spiritual only. There is what we can give you maximum mental satisfaction. So Bhagavad Dharma is later described in the fifth chapter, verse number 11. Tad bhag visaddo janadaga viplavo yasmin pradishlogam abadhavadevi namani anandasya yasho angidaniyat shrimandi gayandi grinandi sadhava. The use of words which though not perfectly composed. Yasmin pradishlogam abadhavad. The Mayavadis, they were very proud of their Sanskrit knowledge. They said that they'll claim that a real understanding, only if you perfectly understand Sanskrit only, then you can understand the imports of the Vedas. Only a person who is thorough in Sanskrit only, he can only understand the imports. He said Vedic Sanskrit is different. So unless you understand Sanskrit, there is no point in pursuing your spiritual activities. You need to be very thorough in Sanskrit. But Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't care a fig about Sanskrit. He says that Yasmin Pradishlogam Abhidhava. Even if you are purely composed with no grammar, nothing. But what is that? Tad Bhag Visargo Janadhago Viplo. If we are creating a revolution, the consciousness of persons, individual and the jivas, that is accepted. By whom? By sadhava. Sadhava means the dear devotees of Krishna. For sadhava, this is only acceptable. Namani anantasya yasho angidani yat. So descriptions of his glories which the devotees hear, sing, and again receive, which destroys all the sins of people. Janadaga viplavo. Tadvag visargo janadaga viplavo. Agha means sin. Revolution of the sin means destruction of the sins, which is possible only by hearing the sweet nectarine pastimes of Krishna. Bhavadanadirprayam yasho bhagado amalam yeneva santusheda manyeta darshanam kilam. 1.5.8 it said, you are not actually broadcast the sublime, spotless glories of personality Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental sense of the Lord is considered worthless. If you are not able to satisfy Krishna and Krishna senses, any effort, anything that is done which is not achieving these two ends is shama eva hi kevalam. It's only waste of time. So when Vedavyas is contemplating like this, he was reflecting like this, Narada is appearing. Tasya evam nikhilam atmanam manyamanasya kidyada Krishnasya narado abhigadashramam pragura dahridam. As mentioned before, Narada reached the cottage of Krishna by Dwapayana Vyasa on the banks of Saraswati, just as Vyasadeva was regretting his defects. Vedavyas ultimately, after reflecting, he got some idea of what went wrong with him, because he had not described the glories of Krishna. Exactly at that time, Sri Narada appeared. So, Srila Prabhupada says the dissatisfaction of Vedas is not account of he lacks a knowledge. He is fully knowledgeable. But Vedavyas was also, in the beginning, he was not worshipping Krishna. I mean, he was not actually describing the glories of Krishna in his works as should have been done. So Srila Prabhupada says that Bhagavad is a devotion service of the Lord, which only people in the Paramahamsa stage is able to relish. No monoists. Monoists means Advaitavadis. They will not be able to reach it properly. So they may be sannyasis, but doesn't mean that they are the Paramahamsa state. In Srimad Bhagavatam's Canto 2 and Canto 3, the sannyasi order is bifurcated into 4: Kutichiga, Bahudaga, Parivrachakacharya, and Paramahamsa. Kutichiga, Bahudaga, Parivrachakacharya, and Paramahamsa. We have Kutijiga is the initial stage of sannyasa, characterized by more settled life with a small heart of dealing. Because he'll be not be traveling too much. He'll be within this orbit of his home, but living separately from his family members in his ashram. Bahudaga is the next stage. It involves more wandering and engaging teaching and spreading. Then we have the Parivrachakacharya stage. Parivrachaka means traveling all over for the benefit of fallen souls. And then the Paramahamsa stage, the highest stage of sannyas, where the individual has attained complete liberation, or what we will say that's complete Krishna Prema.
Which
Who
chapter,
has-
Prabhuji? Which chapter and which sloka?
It is
Canto
coming.
2.
Canto 2 is there. Canto
Yes.
3 also is there. I'll find out the exact verse is there.
Okay,
One
Prabhu.
second. 1 second. One point, please. Hare Krishna. Getting connectivity gone. And this
Yes, Prabhuji. I think it is 2.4.13 purport it is given.
yeah,
I just
12
went to Google.
yeah. 3.2219 is also there. You can search it out. We will share that. That is given there.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, so Paramahamsa, who was engaged total transcendent loving service of Lord, it surpasses the Karmakanda section and the Jnanakanda section of the Vedas. That we'll see, we will be explained more detail in the fifth chapter, next chapter. When seeing this Narada, what Tamabhijnayasa sa pratyudhagatam muni pujayamasa vidivat Naradam surapujidam. Auspicious arrival of Sri Narada, Vyasadeva got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving veneration equal to given to Brahmaji. And Srila Prabhupada says Vidhi means Vidhi is Brahma only. Vidhi means the regulations. The regulations is established by Brahma. Actually, Dharma to Sachal Bhagat Pranidam, but then that is taught to Bhagavan himself. He is personally teaching Brahma, who is the first living entity. And then Brahma became very scholarly, became very knowledgeable, and he became the original professor of Vedas, and is the starting point of this, the Parampara. Then he accepted Narada as his disciple, next, then Vyasa. Like that, this disciplic succession was formed. Of we are following this lineage, Brahma Parampara. So, Srila Prabhupada says, starting from Krishna to Srila Prabhupada number 32 in this Parampara. Everyone is Acharya, is a representative of Krishna only. So they are very respectful. They should be very respected. So that's why Vedavyas immediately got up and very venerably he worshipped him with a veneration equal to that given to Brahma. And it's mentioned that Surapujita means Narada is worshipped even by demigods. That is why he's called Devarshi. Narada is called Devarshi because he is worshipped by Devas. So now, next, so once Narada will start speaking, he will analyze what is the problem with Vedavyas and give solution. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Vedanam Pavane
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।